Well, I'm Will Fiala. I'm the CEO of Keg King here in Melbourne, and I have a team of very talented engineers, system designers that works with me to develop a rather unique refrigeration and beverage distribution idea, which we call the KegMaster Solstice. Well, the Solstice refrigeration system is quite unique in that no one has ever done something like this before in this kind of equipment. It came about as a result of analysing what Australians would like across our vast continent and how difficult it was sometimes to move equipment backwards and forwards. The other thing that our team was very conscious of is the fact that beer fridges, like any other fridge, potentially have a lifetime, and what happens to these things at the end of their life. In Australia, our calculations are that annually between 700,000 to 1.2 million fridges get buried in landfill. Now, this is an environmental disaster which no one even seems to pick up on or talk about, but we thought deeply about it because a refrigerator is essentially a box with some equipment to cool it, and when something goes wrong, the whole box very rarely ever has a problem. The whole box is usually still pretty good, but we toss this whole thing out because maybe a gas line is broken, a compressor is gone, and it's simply too expensive to repair. So how do we address this? We didn't want to make another fridge that's going to go in that direction. Also, we wanted to make a product which people could use effectively forever to keep their beer and other beverages cold. And I think we've actually achieved this. Keg King has been in the business of selling Kegerators for quite a long time now. A Kegerator is basically a fridge which has some equipment on it so that you can put kegs inside it and deliver draft beer directly. Tens of thousands of Kegerators have been sold by Keg King throughout Australia. And when we looked at how we were dealing with this market, one of the problems that we often find is when a machine goes a long way away, experiences some kind of issue, and then a lot of freight and cost is involved in either getting that back or having someone go out to repair this thing. How do we keep that box from going into landfill? And the way to do it, we found, is to use a system whereby all the workings, the electrical parts, the mechanical parts, the cooling parts, and after a lot of experimenting, made what we call a cassette, which weighs approximately 14 kilograms, that can be easily shipped. It can be removed from the system and put back on the system with just 6 screws. So if you're capable of wielding a Phillips head screwdriver, then you are capable of changing over such a cassette and keeping that refrigerator alive. So what we're talking about now is a Kegerator which effectively should never die. Rather than just producing another standard Kegerator, a box on wheels with a cassette, we looked into it a bit further than that. So what we came up with is a unit that's basically stainless steel, because if you're going to be outside, you'd better have something that's going to survive. The other thing that we were concerned with is if we're people using it outdoors, it has the potential to have water splashed on the workings, things like that. So it was decided that a low voltage design would be more effective than something that ran off mains power directly. All the Solstice units can operate off 12 volts DC, so it meant that they also became extremely portable, which is ideal for things like vending vans, motorhomes, just taking them out to events, where you don't have regular mains power available. And of course, where there is mains power available, we supply it with an approved power pack so that you don't have to worry about that. But it suddenly freed the fridge up. So if you're going out to a wedding or something like that, You can have one of these things with a battery on the back and just walk it around to wherever it's needed, and pour a cold beer, wine, cider, cocktail mixes, whatever. With the stainless steel that we have used, it's a good quality steel, so it is good enough to go into hospitality uses as well, where often the demands are a bit harder on things. The other alternative power sources, of course, running from vehicular batteries or running directly from a set of solar panels, makes this thing super flexible. I mean, basically, the more sunlight you've got, the more you can chill your beverages. So when we first put the original Solstice on the market early in 2022, and people started using them, and what we had come up with was a unit which could take either a 50-litre keg and a smaller keg, or half a dozen corny kegs, which kind of suited the homebrew market a fair bit, but other people got onto it pretty quickly. We made this thing into a larger unit, by extending it, and so now we have the 365, Solstice 365, which can handle two 50-litre units, plus a smaller one or a gas bottle inside, or it can handle 10 corny kegs, which is quite massive for something like that. So theoretically you can have up to 10 taps on top if you wanted to, but we think in most cases we'll be happy between 4 to 6. This was seen by some people as being ideal for events and parties, so they asked us if we could make a kiosk out of it. So we came up with an idea to stick some pillars on there and a top that slid up, and with some lights and some signage, and all of a sudden you've got a whole little vending system for relatively little money. So that was the one end of it, but then we extended the idea on the other side to what we call the Solstice Mini. And the Solstice Mini is a real fun thing that's designed for the home user, for the very small end of hospitality, where the 10-litre kegs and soon to be 20-litre keg version could be used by anyone. And we made this thing as low cost as we could. We left the top visible so people can see what's in there. We wanted to, have people show this thing off inside their bars. We want people in cafes to be able to pop a keg in there that shows a particular craft brewery's product. And again, we made the thing 12 volts. So that you can take this thing with you in your caravan, and it doesn't take up much more space than a coffee machine, and it actually costs less than a coffee machine. So how good is that? See this also as a very desirable thing for breweries to be very aware of, because all of a sudden breweries now have the ability to send a 10-litre keg directly to an end customer, and if you think about it, that means the brewery can keep all its margin. So this has got to be a great thing. From the other end, the people who are getting beer in a 10-litre keg like that are getting a real draft beer. One of the most fun things is watching people come and take a look at a Solstice and how quickly they get the idea of what they can do with it. You can see them visualizing it in their alfresco area, or even in their shop and so forth. And the number of people who then will send us photographs of where they've put it and what they've done with it are just legion. And we love seeing these things come on our Facebook page and elsewhere. And it's not just for home use. I mean, we also see the hospitality people who get pretty excited by having something that they can afford and so easy to use. Our design team gets pretty motivated by some of this stuff because they can see we're making something which people really enjoy to have. So this is exactly the kind of reaction, this is the kind of inspiration, the ideas that we wanted to design this thing for. This is a fun fridge, but it does a very, very good job in the purpose that it's made for.